Hello, welcome to Wednesday. Hope you're having a good day to our devotion. I've been reading or rereading a book called The Present Future by Reggie McNeil. He's a South Carolina guy or South Carolinian. He's a good guy, and his book asks some really tough questions for the church. This book actually is a little dated, but the reality is now we're kind of reshifting post-COVID. He asks some really tough questions about how we go about doing ministry and making us think differently. One of the questions he asks is, how do we grow our church? By the way, he says that is the wrong question. So often in this world, we think about how we grow our church, how we ask people to come to us, the establishment, when there is much about what Jesus does and how he does it that is much different than the establishment. The Pharisees really kind of equal the establishment in the Gospels. And if you think about it, when Jesus is interacting with people, the Pharisees are always challenging him. He heals somebody on Sunday, and they're like, why are you doing this on Sunday? How is it that you can heal somebody right now? It's the Sabbath. And they miss the person. Jesus starts talking about going out into the world and to seek the one. They're like, but wait a second. He goes, I came to seek that which was lost so that it might be found. They're missing the people. They're more worried about the establishment. So often in this world, I think the question we ask ourselves, so how do we grow the church? Well, the reality is the church looks different today, doesn't it? About who's coming and how and why they are coming. And so we have to ask ourselves some different questions. Jesus says in John chapter 5, starting with verse 17, he says, my Father is always at work to this very day, and I too am working. He says, very truly, I tell you, the Son of Man can do nothing by himself. He can do only what he sees his Father doing. Because whatever the Father does, the Son also does. For the Father loves the Son and shows him all he does. Yes, he will show him even more greater works than these, so that you will be amazed. For just as the Father raises these dead and gives them life, even so the Son gives life to whom it pleases, who he is pleased to give it to. Reggie goes to ask what he calls the right question. Is how do we go about God's work into the community to hit them with the gospel? How do we live out the gospel in our community's lives? That's the very work that Jesus was doing. Whether it's Mark chapter 5 when he goes across the Sea of Galilee to interact with a man who was demon possessed, whether it's stopping at the woman at the well in Samaria, those who weren't like him, who weren't looking for him. That's the very work that Jesus was doing. He was in the community. I wonder if it's time we ask ourselves, how is it that I am carrying the church into the community that we might reach people for the kingdom of God? Yes, I want to see our church numbers grow. I want to see more people in worship. It's fun to see a full house. It's a great way to worship, and it is part of how we connect. But part of that is going out and living out our faith in the community, doing exactly what Jesus did, so that we might help them see Jesus, not our church. When people consistently see that we bring them to Jesus, the church piece will take care of itself. So how is it that we're doing the very work that the Father asked us to do, that God asked us to do, in our streets, in our homes, in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our businesses, wherever it is we go each day? Just a thought for the day. How do we go into our community with the very gospel that saved us? God bless. Peace.